Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is the MMA Huddle. I am live. I haven't got Big Willie style with me. Apologies for that, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here just on my own. It's one of them things. It is what it is, guys. But I am coming to you with the UFC Holloway versus Kattar breakdown, UFC Fight Island 7. Let's jump on here while we're all online. I'm going to jump in, give it a quick share on social media, let people know that we're kicking off, going live right now. Here we are. Share, boom. Let's share to social media so folks at home can join in. If you're watching the stream, here we go. Going live with, here we go, hashtag UFC Fight Island. UFC Fight Island. Here we are, folks. All right, I hope you're all staying safe. Hope everything's going well with you all. Here we go. They're going live, blah, blah, blah. Fight Island, lovely. Breakdown. Come join in. Join in. There we go. So that's it live. Now, like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you all had a great Christmas. I hope you all had a great new year. Me and Will, obviously, we've been off. We've had a break. We're finally back, which is nice to come back to this world of MMA. I did think I'd have a long break of no tape study, and that didn't quite work out as well as I thought because I got into it probably within a week of being off due to the fact that the UFC put 3 fight cards on for us, which was lovely of them to do so. I'm just on here quickly sharing on social media, so hopefully we can get some folks join in. And like I say, this podcast, so this edition is going to be kind of a quick overview of the Holloway card. After this, I'm going to come back again and do a Chiesa and Magny breakdown too. If I knew how to add, do you know what I should have done? I should have had like a banner, but I didn't, or I don't know. Well, it's all good though. It doesn't matter. Let me go into here. Boom, boom. There we are. So that's that done. Lovely stuff. Lovely jubbly. Okay, let's jump into it, guys and girls. Like I said, we're going to break down this year. Me and Will's tied up with COVID. And what I mean by that, he hasn't got COVID. He is tied up with work. Because COVID's happening, a lot of people at his workplace, he's a bit restrictive of what hours he can do and who he can have and in work. And he's just working crazy hours, and his missus as well. So as and when tape studies written to him, everything. So everything's a bit up in the air for him, bless him. So I feel for my boy Big Willie style. He's doing what he can. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm doing this random Thursday afternoon stream because I can, and I'm just going to get it. I'm going to get this online because I want to get back in the game with all of you. I did do a Mike Grundy interview. He got injured, so that went out the window. So that was a bit of a nightmare. So that sucked. I won't lie, that sucked. But is what it is, and nothing I can do about it. Anyway, so let's jump into this. So I'm going to quickly, yeah, that's all good there. Hit that there. Wonderful. Looking beautiful. So I'm going to jump into the card straight away. I've had a look over the fight cards. I haven't had as in-depth as I normally go with fight cards because there was that many fights. There's 3 fight cards coming up in a week. So striking wasn't that easy to do. First up, we have in the featherweight division, we have Jacob Kilburn versus Austin Lingo. Now, I had a look over the fights. They were okay fights. In my opinion, though, I don't think Kilburn is effectively a UFC level fighter. I think his hands are a bit low for someone who's quite hittable. He's poor on the ground. I wasn't overly impressed by what I saw of Jacob. I didn't see much out of him that made me think that he should be possibly in the UFC or even sticking around. Austin Lingo himself, again, he's another fighter who I think they're kind of well suited in levels because I don't think either of them are of a level that's blown me out. Lingo, I feel like he's a bit of a slow striker, plants his feet, so he's open to the leg kicks if you want to take advantage of that. He's very tough and aggressive, though, so he'll come forward quite a lot. He'll happily take a hit to get a hit in. Won't sustain you very long in the UFC, as we saw with the Zalil fight. He did land a couple of good shots on Zalil, who was moving around a lot, but if you've got a lot of footwork, you can outwork this guy. You can put him off. For me, Jacob Kilburn, no, I just don't see much about him. I watch his Fight Island fights. His Island fights, not Fight Island, his Island fights, which is a different promotion. It certainly shows susceptible rear naked grappling exchanges. He certainly seems a bit weak in those areas. If I'm an opponent taking him on, that's something I'd look to do. I don't think he'll get that of Austin. No, I think Austin's happy to stand on a feet and strike. And this is where Jacob has a better chance. I think we're going to see the two of them just kind of go at each other and hit each other till one man falls. I don't have a lot of hope in either of them, really. doing much to blow my mind in the way of skill set. I'm going to go with Austin for the win, though. I feel like he has got a bit of a toughness about him. He can absorb quite a bit of hits. He showed it maybe a bit of a better gas tank, but Jacob for me is not UFC worthy in my opinion. I'm not overly keen on it. A late addition to the card, though, that caught me off guard the other day was Sarah Moraes getting added against Vanessa Mello. Vanessa Mello, for me, she's lost 3 in a row in the UFC. She's missed weight twice. I cannot fathom why you would bother keeping this girl in the UFC. Blows my mind that they've got her in the UFC still. I don't think she's worthy of it. I don't think she should be in the UFC still, but they're keeping her for now. It's possible to give Sarah Moraes an opportunity to get a W. It's the only thing I can think. For me, Sarah Moraes is a girl who's like really hit and miss. She got the nice win against Liana Jojua, which I say nice win. It was a leg up. It was like she got an opportunity to get a W in the UFC. Like the only win she had is the Ashley Evans Smith one, which got submission. She's very much a girl who's got really poor poor striking, really poor footwork, Sarah Moraes. But on the ground, she's got incredible dexterity. She's got opportunities with the submission game. But if you're a heavy wrestler, you can maybe nullify it, or if you can keep on the feet. You can just piece her up all day. Now, Vanessa Mello's going to take that opportunity. She's going to try and get this girl to stay standing and throw strikes. If Vanessa makes weight, I'd be amazed because she's missed, like, say, twice in the last 3 fights. She's missed weight. She seems to have trouble making that 135 weight cut. You've also got to take into consideration she's coming all the way from wherever she's training to Abu Dhabi, potentially short notice as well. She was scheduled to fight Moraes back in November, but I'm keen to see how she does. She's not fought since July. I'm going to go with Sarah Moraes on this one. I just feel like she's not a great fighter, Sarah Moraes. She's not overly anything blowing me away, but I just feel like Vanessa Mello's maybe lacking a little bit in the ability to stay at the upper level with the professionalism of making weight. I just feel that she might be susceptible to potential arm bars or submissions from Sarah Moraes if she gets to fight to the ground. You've got to keep her standing, or you cannot afford to go to the ground with this girl. Sarah Moraes has got a bit of potential danger there, but I'll probably go with Sarah Moraes on this one. It's not a fight I'm overly keen about. I don't think either girls are worthy of being in the women's bantamweight division in the UFC. Don't think their skill set is worthy of it, but that's the fight we've got there. Next up we have is an entertaining bout. I love this fight. David Zawada against Ramazan Emeev. Lovely fight. When I saw the fight get announced, I was happy about it because you've got a guy who's Emeev, who's tough. You've got Zawada, who showed his grit and he showed persistence, and he's come a long way in his since he started making his debut in the UFC. So I was pretty impressed with David Zawada. Solid off his back. He is dangerous guy off his back. He is going to cause a lot of people problems. He's going to be a bit of a nightmare for folks who ever want to try and take him down and get off and try and get like ground and pound, anything like that. I'm just going to quickly write a message to everyone. Well, here we go. Let's go to this. So David Zawada. Let's see. I've got notes as well, guys, because I wrote that. I watched that 3 fight card to fight. I had to make a couple of little notes here. Yeah, Zawada's jiu-jitsu was phenomenal in the fights I've seen off his back. Great cardio I've seen as well. He's got striking to go with it. I think as an all-rounder, Zawada's a very, very dangerous fighter. I want to say he was unlucky, but I did feel like with Danny Roberts' split decision, it was a fun fight, entertaining back and forth. Li Jiang fight, I think Jiang is a tough opponent for anyone. I think especially the second fight. But you got to remember, he came from KSW Zawada. He was an absolute monster there. He was doing some great work. He got given tough guys because they believed that he's a tough guy to fight. And then he fought the Magomedov guy and he got the triangle submission in the first round. I think that it was good for his body. It was good for him to get the confidence to get that win. Now he's fighting a guy in Ramazan who is one tough dude. We know he's tough, but one thing that showed in some of his fights, he's susceptible to, like, for example, the leg kicks. The Nicholas Stoltz fight and the Anthony Rocco Martin fight. He's very heavy on that front foot. He likes to get his decision. He likes to grind out the results. So with that comes a little bit of vulnerability, let's say. Okay, he's a strong grappler, which is Zawada is going to be happy if he goes to the ground. He's got a bit of a low output. I feel like he can, but because he can be outworked. I feel if you put the pressure on him, you put the output on him, you can get the W on there. It's all about if Zawada turns up on point I think Amir is such a well-rounded fighter. He's so hard to beat. I think Amir is the kind of guy who will beat a lot of the guys in the lower ranks, like a Zawada, etc. But he'll never get the guys who are upper echelon of the welterweight division. So I feel like he might have a bit of a tough time. I was kind of stuck on this one. I kind of felt maybe Zawada got a bit of a confidence in him when he finally got that W in the UFC. But I'm going to go with Amir. I just think that the grappling aspect, he could be a bit heavy, the top game grappling. He's tough to put away. He is susceptible to the leg kicks. I would take full advantage of that, and I would go for the legs and try and take him out. But I'm going to go with the Neve on this one. I just feel like he is a solid all rounder. He's good at getting decisions. He's just smart at getting those rounds under his belt. But he is open to getting defeated here if Zawada takes the right approach. Next up, we have in the heavyweight division is Carlos Felipe, who is like your fat boy Nate Diaz against Justin Tafa. Like I found with Felipe, he is uber confident, uber cocky, big smack talker, tries to get in the head of opponents. You know, if you're Tafa, don't ignore it. He's got a good output though, Carlos Felipe. For a heavyweight, he has got a good output. He is open to getting hit though. He does mix his strikes as well. So he's a tough one because he relies on his toughness. He relies on his chin a bit, relies on being a heavy boy and outworking the guy. Tafa is almost like an opposite. He's a bit quiet when he's in there. He's patient. He's a good boxer. And he's got power in his hands. He cracks hard. It's closing that distance down. I think Felipe here is going to try and use the footwork to try and get the distance, try and keep Tafa on the end of his punches because Tafa just wants to get close in distance and strike. Obviously, we've seen with Tafa what he can do, but we've also seen on the other flip side with Tafa, he is vulnerable and can get stopped. The Castro fight, you know, is the example I think we can all look at. I think hopefully he can learn from it. He's early in his career, like 4-1 as a heavyweight is super early. The Guan Adams fight, he showed a lot more patience, and even though it was the first round, a couple of minutes, he showed a bit more patience in that fight rather than the Castro fight, where he literally ran into the punch and gave the victory away. I think one of the issues you got with Tafa is he's learning and has to learn quick, getting into the upper echelon of the UFC, getting in the UFC so early in his career. I think with Carlos Felipe, I think he's got a bit more experience. He's a bit cocky. I don't know. I'm a bit torn on this because I think if Felipe can reduce the amount of gets hit and keep the output, I think he can win. So I'm going to go with Carlos Felipe because he can get a decision. He's a bit cocky. He's a bit brash. And I think with his output, he might be able to put Tafa off and just really use the kicks really to keep Tafa away at distance. So I'm going to go with Carlos Felipe on this one. I'm not sure if Tafa's got the experience yet to maybe use MMA rather than boxing to get the W. So I'm going Justin Tafa on this. Carlos Felipe and this one here. We have a late replacement here. We have Joselyn Edwards stepping in the face. It was meant to be Betch Carrera, but she got injured. And so they've brought in Joseline Edwards, who's fighting Wu Yanan. Now, I've got to be honest with you, I was a bit skeptical about this. I thought, right, let's have a look at this girl, Joseline Edwards. She hasn't fought a talented group of girls, let's say. She has fought some girls who were gopping. I don't know how to put it. Like they got hit, they broke like glass, they just fell apart. They didn't like it. They didn't know what to do when the fight got a bit aggressive. And Joselyn Edwards has got good striking on it. She is an aggressive striker. She has got nice hands, so she can really put the work on you, can hit you a bit, can put you down in that sense with her technical ability. But I'm kind of looking at the fight from, let's say, a perspective of it's MMA and it's not. You've got a girl here in Wu Yanan. She's tough. She's not got the output I wish she had. I think if she had a bit more of an output, she could be a bit more aggressive. I think Joselyn Edwards is going to find us a bit tougher than a normal fight. Wu Yanan got that split decision loss to Inoue. Then she got the loss to Mazzani. Now, Mazzani fight is a style of fight which probably doesn't suit Yanan, where you grind her out. But I don't feel, for me, I think you might get an opportunity here where Wu Yanan can just out punch and keep pushing and put the pressure on. I think Edwards has almost had a way in MMA with the fight she's had. You know, she's never got to the third round. If she lost in the second. She's won a couple in the second, but she had one fight that went to the third round against Trisha Serkio. If you know who she is, she's a tough out as a grappler. She wants to grapple. Edwards did well to stop the fight getting to the ground that much, but I just feel here Joseline Edwards, short notice, making a debut. I think she'll do well on the feet for the first round. I think Wu Yanan, with the experience in the UFC, fighting the tougher caliber of girls like, I see Wu Yanan's a good fighter. She's not a very good fighter, but she's opportunistic. She's got the submission game on the ground and all sorts. Yanan missed weight in the last fight, so she's got to make weight this time. I just think she might be able to out-tough it. I think Joselyn Edwards has had her way quite often with her fights. She lost to Sarah Alpar in a split decision, but at the same time, I'm looking forward to seeing what Joselyn Edwards can do. I might go with Yanan on this one. I just feel like she might be able to pull this one out of the hat on a short notice fight. And it's more suitable than Betch Kattar. I thought the Betch fight was more fixed up for Betch here. And next up we have is an insanely interesting fight with the middleweight division. You have Phil Hawes, against, here we go, Nasruddin Imarov. Now, this fight in the middleweight division is going to be absolute fireworks. You've got two guys who are fantastic opponents. And with Hawks especially, he is fast, powerful, and he relies on that a lot. And that's one of his strengths, and he uses it really well. He's a really powerful striker, fast athlete, exciting dude to watch. I like the look of him. I like it if he can just maybe hone in his skills a bit more. He can maybe do a bit more damage. He calls himself Megatron as his name. And then you've got Russian Sniper on the other end. So you've got two guys who just rely on two different skill sets. The fight against Jordan Williams, I thought Imavov, I'm going to get that wrong so many times. He looked really precise, really clean of striking, nice, well-rounded striker. I like what he can bring to the table. He's a far cleaner technical striker than Phil. For me, Phil is one thing he's got to be careful with. He's the dude who got absolutely starched in the Dana White Contender Series by Julian Marquez. If you don't recall watching that fight, do go back and have a look at it. He got the head kick where he face planted. He got by Anthony Sanchez, so there are holes to the guy's games. He lost to Lewis Taylor at the World Series fighting. There are things about his game that is holes. He went to Bellator, he got a W there, which was fine. Then he also fought with Brave FC, so he went away to fight, and he did fight on better shows. His UFC debut, though, was against, for me, I feel like I call him a can, Jacob Malkoun. He was absolutely shocking. I couldn't believe he got signed to the UFC. And we've got one of the boys here. Liam, how's it going, bro? Yeah, I hope everything's well with you. I'm super, mate. Absolutely grand. I'm just doing this kind of, not quick stream, but I'm just doing a live stream now because Will's tied up. I kind of left it to the last minute to see if he could do it, and he couldn't do it because of COVID and work-related stuff, so he's a bit tied up, bro. But I'm here for doing this breakdown for the card, then I'm going to jump off. I'm going to come back again for the Chiesa and Magny card as well, bro. So I'm literally doing two in a row, and then I've left the third card, which is obviously Conde, and I've left that. Hopefully Will's able to make it this weekend, maybe, or Monday, and then see if I can get going with that, brother. But yeah, man, Nasruddin, he is such a nice, well-rounded striker. I would love to see him get the W here because I feel like he could as well. So I'm actually going from Phil. I'm going over to Nasruddin, and I think he's got the cleaner striking. I think he's got the striking to last 3 rounds as well. I think he can totally do it. I think he can go 3 rounds and get that in there. So I'm hoping it pays off. Daniel Edwards, my pandemic mustache is crying of shame. Brother, look at that, bro. Let it grow, Look, here we go. Look at this. See, we got a filthy long mustache, Tash, and you can just grow up, you see. And if you get a bit of gels in there, you can grow all the way up, my friend. There's nothing wrong with Tash. Look at that. Let it grow. Daniel, embrace the COVID beard and the facial hair. Just let it go. Be a man. Just go, let it go. Don't be those skinny jeans, clean shaven, look like little babies. Get rid of that stuff. Next up, guys. So I'm going Nasruddin, man. I think that he could get the win here. I think he's just a cleaner striker. I feel like Phil maybe kind of 3 rounds might start to tail off with that explosive striking. So that's what I'm going with on there. This is the fight card I have at the moment. Obviously, we know with the UFC and the way the cards go, it could go tits up at any time. So don't hold me to ransom on the layout of the card, who's fighting on the card, any of that, because it's just a nightmare. yeah, next up we have on the middleweight division it's another middleweight fight. It's Dusko Todorovic, okay, against, here we go, this is awesome, this Punali, yeah, again, Serrano. Fight here, one thing that Dusko's got promise, but I think what he has got is a little bit of cockiness, which is going to bite him in the ass. His debut was against Daquan Townsend after he won his Dana White Contender Series bout. Daquan Townsend is gopping. No way to put it, guys and girls. Daquan Townsend is not UFC level, not even Bellator level. Bellator wouldn't have him. He's regional at best. He's got attributes in the regional scene which help him get wins, but he's gopping. Dusko got the W, got the ground and pound in the second round, and Daquan wasn't even bumping the hips when he got the ground and pound, wasn't shrimping, wasn't doing anything off his back. It was just frustrating. But one thing Dusko showed in his Dana White Contender Series and his other bouts as well, if you look outside where he fought on other regional shows, he has the tall man defense syndrome where he has to chin up and leans back, leaves his head a bit exposed, and he's open to getting hit. You've got a guy here who's going to face up against, who fought Jamie Pickett, got a nice decision win against him. Oscar Priocha. Now, Oscar Priocha, to me, don't get me wrong, his chin left him a few fights ago. I don't know where it's gone. He's forgot to pick it up after one of his fights, and since then he's been getting absolutely sparked. But if you look at Serrano in the Dana White Contender Series, where it went to a decision, you look at the LFA fight that he had against Patty, yeah. As a whole, even though he fought on Titan FC, so, and he's fought in a few good events. He's a good striker. He's got good grappling as well. He's got a good all-round skill set. I feel for me, Serrano is just a better all-round player. I think he's got not just the striking acumen, he can get the grappling takedowns and can use that to his advantage. Against a guy like Dusko, what I would like to do if I was fighting Dusko simply is double up on my straight shots. Daquan could, here we go. So Daquan could have done with a bit of luck, but just weren't good enough. Yeah, he just really wasn't, bro. Even all his fights, man, I was surprised because he looked like he had the attributes to be that level. He could have had it, but it just feel like he just maybe mentally could have maybe not reached that level, but physically he could. Yeah, Dusko for me. I feel like if I'm Serrano, I would go double up on their punches. So you throw a jab, you throw a double straight on the end of it. You close that distance down because if he's going to go for the lean, which he often kind of does, he leaves his head a little bit open to striking. You double up on punches. That second one tend to usually land, or you go for the just subscribe, no thanks. Brother, thank you very much. Absolute pleasure. Brother, sister, non-binary, whichever you like to be called. Thank you very much. Absolute pleasure. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, feel free to. I'll be putting out more interviews. I am going to focus more as well, guys, on European-based MMA fighters rather than trying to hit the stateside and all that stuff in the Asia, etc., in Asia market. Only reason being is time scales. It's awkward sometimes for me to get hold of those US-based guys and girls because they're free at like 2 a.m. and I'm in bed. So I like my sleep. Like every other human. But I'm going to go with Serrano here. I think he can definitely lay out Dusko, but I think that Dusko will have a bit of difficulty because with the leaning back, one thing you got to think about, if I lean back, one thing that puts a lot of weight on my back foot, it leaves a front leg open for a takedown. And here we go. You're bang on. Yeah, Dusko does look open for strikes as soon as the opponent lets their hands go. Yeah, he goes in for the clinch. And that's one of the things. With the lean back technique that he has, it actually opens up for the takedowns. Because when you lean back, your weight's on the back leg. Your front leg is left open. It's loose. It's open for the takedown. You go for a single, transition to a double. Just go on his back. Well, I'm a bit of a problem with a guy like Serrano, who I think can land a ground and pound or even a submission win. So I'm going and leaning kind of towards Serrano here. I think he can possibly get the finish on Dusko because his chin is out there. It's like it's begging to be hit, and I think he's going to get hurt a couple of times in the UFC tenure. Now we've got another filthy middleweight fight. It was tons of middleweight fights going on. Quinn, Buckley against Alicia de Serkio. Now let's take it away. Like Quinn, Buckley, we'll take a cap off. He got the best finish of last year. In the sense of it was flamboyant, it was fancy, it was a beautiful finish. No matter what you say, he got that win. All right, and he got kind of projected him a bit further. But then he got Jordan Wright, which was a beautiful fight to get, which I loved, because Jordan Wright, for me, I don't know about you guys and girls at home, I cannot get on with this guy. I cannot click with this Jordan Wright guy. He looks smug. He looks up his arse. He comes from a wealthy family. You could just see his attitude as well. Like, I deserve this. No, I hope you get battered in every UFC fight and get back to where you belong. Get back with your little hoity-toity friends and play polo. Jog on, lad. I don't think he's got the acumen to get in the UFC and make it that far. So we got sparked by Buckley, which was beautiful to watch. So Buckley, for me, he's coming on now. He had that fight he came in against Kevin Holland, bit short nose, and he didn't. You could see he was just trying to get that first win. The reach was out of the way. He was trying to go for the first round knockout. He couldn't get it. He's now got himself a nice, solid test. He's got an absolute solid test. Alicia Serkio, even though he's not put any wins of late, he's lost 3 in a row. Take a note of what he is doing. He puts guys through the ring. He tests guys. He's got such a chin. He's got an cardio, he's got an output, he's got everything you want to be your kind of countryman, middle of the road kind of tester, right? He is like your Gleason Tebow kind of guy. He is what he is to the UFC's middleweight division right now. He could do with the win, but I think Buckley's power and speed is ridiculous, okay? That straightforward power, that motion he has is awesome. He's got a good head kick on him too, which he adds to his game for someone's height. He does add it in. He's just got to be careful. He's fighting a guy who's on 3 fights. He's lost 3 fights. He definitely needs to win. As you know, with the UFC's cuts of late, he's going to absolutely fall foul of it. But we have noticed he has got a lack of ability to finish fights, especially in the UFC. He's had the one against Bambozi, which, let's be honest, Bambozi was a flash in the pan, came in and off he went. He went out quick, and then he came into the UFC. He was, other than that, he's not able to get those Ws in a sufficient way to kind of stamp himself down. He's on the regional scene, don't get me wrong, he's done solid. I think one of the things that he's lacked is that finishing ability. We're going to see, though, a good test with Buckley, how he can manage his output and range and cardio, how it looks with a full camp on cardio perspective for Buckley against someone like the Serkio. I am going with Buckley all day on this one. I think he should get the win. I think he should easily get 2 rounds under his belt. He may lay off a little bit in the third with a bit of cardio, but I'm going that way. Next we have in the welterweight division is Ponzinibbio is back, finally. God damn, he's back against a tough one in Li Jingliang. Now, I'm just glad that Ponzi's back. I think he's an absolute monster, but he last fought in 2018. But just in 2021, but he last fought in 2018. So he's had a couple of years out. The thing about Ponzi is he's got everything you want to see. He's got good striking, good cardio. He can do the ground game, grappling. He is such an all-rounder. He was in that echelon of the top side of the welterweight division with title contention talks, everything and stuff like that. So you have to take that into consideration. I don't feel that a lot of what Ponzi had then is going to go anywhere. He had the injuries, but the injury restrictions that he had didn't really stop him from losing his skill set. He's still with ATT, the top guys out there. He's a tough guy for anyone. I think Jingliang, the fight, I think he's a fun fighter. I love Li Jingliang. I think he's always going to bring an entertainment fight. He's always going to bring it to the table. He got a couple of wins back on his when he fought DeSantos. Sorry, that was the one. I couldn't remember who it was now. He got Zawada as well. He was on the card. He got a couple of good wins, but one thing I feel like when he fights those guys who are potentially upper level, the upper class, like the top 10 guys, the maybe top 5s, I feel like Jingliang is going to fall short of this. And he fought Neil Magny, and Neil Magny took him apart. Neil Magny was beautiful in that fight. Neil Magny was fantastic. I was so impressed with that bout that he had against Jingliang. And something there shows the experience and calmness that Magny has. With Ponzi, he's got power. He can hurt you. Those leg kicks are ferocious. And I think something that Jingliang can do often is be a little bit lean over, which puts the weight on the front leg, open to the leg kicks again. 3-round fight, hell from Ponzi. And Ponzi knows he needs to get back, have to get back in a big way, but he has to get himself back in that talk again because he's been out for a bit. Lots happened in the welterweight division. People are kind of almost look past it. You get Ponzi back with a W, love it. Get him in there. Get him in the talks of title contention. I'm going Ponzi again with this one. I think he should take this clean, three-round decision win. Jing Liang, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's got a tough chin and he can take a bit of a pasting. A fight which is nostalgia, I suppose. Carlos Conde against Matt Brown. It's a fight that, it's a rematch. It was like there was meant to happen 26 million times, it feels like, but it's a fight that they've been looking to have, and they finally got it matched up again. It's something that should have happened. I think it was a couple of years back now. Let's say it feels like that anyway. But the Matt Brown they're fighting now and the Carlos Conde fighting now, they're two different human beings. It's weird to watch it. They've had face-off, they've had everything. They've never had the actual fight. And it seems now that we're finally going to get to see it happen. Unless one of them slips, falls, and bangs their head and it doesn't happen again. I don't know. I just hope it bloody happens. That's all I hope. So, man, how do you describe what Conde and Matt Brown is? So, Carlos Conde beat Court McGee. He had a couple of years out. Court McGee is a guy who's there to be beaten. I thought didn't look over exceptional. Carlos Conde had lost 5 in a row prior to that against the guys in the upper echelon, again in the welterweight division, but I wasn't overly blown away by what Carlos Conde did or what he brings to the table. I know what Carlos Conde can do. I think he was a great fighter. I think the talks of the retirement, etc. The same with Matt Brown. It's awkward. It's awkward because Matt Brown's hitting. I think he'll be 41 by the time this fight happens. I think it is, or 40. No, he is 40. Sorry. So he's 40. On his birthday the other day. He's not looking out of shape, don't get me wrong. He got sparred against Miguel by when he came back in 2020. He beat Ben Saunders, which I'm not being rude to anyone. People should be knocking Ben Saunders out with, blowing their nose these days. Ben Saunders' chin is that weak. Absolutely took away Diego Sanchez's soul with that elbow from hell back in 2017. But for him as well, he's a guy who's susceptible to getting hit in the body shots. We've always seen that he's got a weak body, Matt Brown, which is weird because he works his core and does all strength conditioning, but he's always been susceptible to getting hit in that body. You have a man here in Carlos Conde who's got wicked kicks, nice array of striking. I think if I'm Matt Brown, if I get Carlos Conde to the ground, I can maybe get the ground and pound win. But Matt Brown's style of fighting is just to stand there and throw fists. I was a bit stuck on this one, who to pick to win. Because I think both of them are really at that last stages. I think they're maybe trying to go out for a big bang here and get a nice paycheck, as in get a bonus, go for fight of the night. I think you might see both guys stand and fight. I'm going to pick Carlos Conde. I feel like his cardio's always been great. He's got more precision striking. He's more of an accurate striker. And I believe Matt Brown won't be going for the grappling aspect. I believe he won't go for the takedowns. I think he'll try to stand this one out. If I'm Carlos Conde, I'm going to try and whip those body kicks in because he's open and susceptible to them. So I'm going to Carlos Conde here, but I ain't even confident on it, man. I'm not confident on either of these dudes. It's a slight pick on Conde. Max Holloway, Calvin Kattar is the next one. Man, that was rough viewing because Calvin Kattar is a bad motherfucker. Dude hits, cracks, combinations, everything. Look, the Dan Ige fight, he ripped him apart. The Jeremy Stevens fight, that was a beautiful finish by him. He lost that fight as a beat, but let's be honest with you, there was a lot into that fight, which was a little bit of a hoo-ha. So you could always theoretically say that Calvin's on a 5-fight win streak because the Zabit fight went 5 rounds. Zabit was getting murdered. So you could theoretically think that he's possible on a 5-fight win streak. You've got a guy on the opposite end of it where Holloway needs a win. He's a bad dude, former champ. I watched the fight again against Volkanovski, the second fight, man. I kind of am a bit stuck on why they went with Volk on the second fight. I think Holloway got it when I watched it on mute. So I didn't have any commentary, didn't have any crowd cheer. I just watched it on mute, did a little mental kind of scoring. I just don't know where that decision win for Volkanovski was. So one thing that, Matt Holloway's got to do is just focus on getting that W. He's just got to get back in the win column, get those W's going again. You get to that win, maybe another win, he might get that shot straight away again. I think the UFC don't want to take away from Max Holloway. They know he's a brand. They know he sells. I think what they want to do is maybe put another title fight in there without him being involved in the picture. So I'm going to go on this one and say that Calvin Kattar's got beautiful striking, nice combinations. What we've not seen, though, when he fought Dan Ige was landing some good shots, but what Dan Ige isn't, he isn't a Max Holloway. Max Holloway doesn't hit you heavy. He hits you a lot. He's started to show a progression in his maturity with his footwork and distance management. He's got wicked cardio, can take a punch, recovers quick. He can do grappling, he can do striking. Max Holloway is one of the greatest featherweights we've had. 100% he's one of the best that's been around. I've got to go towards Holloway on this one because I think a 5-round fight for Holloway is just standard bread and butter. Calvin has had that once in his career against Dan Ige, and don't get me wrong, Dan Ige, he can hold his head high. He fought tremendous in that fight, and he himself was on a great, tremendous run. Had a few decisions go his way, but then he finally comes short in that fight. I got to go here with Max Holloway. I feel like Max Holloway can get this one put away. I think he's got great cardio, 5-round fights. He knows how to pace it right. With a guy like Calvin Kattar, who's tall and lanky as well, like him, Max Holloway's tall as well as. The pair of them have got, similar body types, but it might suit a bit better. Like Ortega's not small, so like you had someone like that. Pettis, who's another opponent of his. The Charles Oliveira fight. He can handle the taller guys. Obviously, the Dustin Poirier fight was 155 short notice. I think if you put Holloway in 155 permanently, you might get a different result in that Dustin Poirier fight. But I'm going to go Holloway here, guys. I think his output is superb. I like Dusko win by stoppage. Here we go. He lures opponents to the clinch, which is what I meant. Fair enough, bro. Yeah, he could. I'm not saying Dusko couldn't win. I think he could do that, Daniel. I'm with you on that one. He could 100% land at it and put some damage on. But I just feel he's open to getting sparked out. And I think a lot of guys, coaches should see that and see it as Christmas Day. But like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go with Max Holloway. I think he can get the W here. I think he can get the when I say decision win, I'll go decision win. I think he can get a decision win over Kattar or actually put him away. I just think that he's a far more smart fighter. He's not even reached his peak. He's not even over the hill yet. He's super early in his days of MMA competing, etc. So I think Holloway's got at least another 5-6 years of him if you wanted to at the top level. He's too good not to be. But what we're going to do, that's the picks on that card. I'm going to jump into the betting side of things, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to just quickly look at these odds, where they are at the present time, which is the 14th. And we'll see what we have, and we'll see what we can do here. So let's go into here. Let's go to this. UFC. Yes, please. Fight night. Let's go to that card. There we are. So I want the betting odds for that fight. Where is it? Betting odds and betting odds. There we go. See more. That's what I want. So Carlos Felipe, minus 190 against Justin Tafford, plus 155. That's solid. Heavyweights you kind of stay away from because you don't know what's going to happen on there. Joseline Edwards, minus 110 against Yanan at minus 120. That's a pick and fight. I see that. I can see money coming in for Edwards, and I can see why it's coming. So that's a good one there. Jacob Kilburn, plus 180. Lingo, minus 220. I think that's a bit of a big gap. I would say maybe like a 150 aside, plus and minus, but that one I'd probably stay clear of it as well because I don't think they're good enough. Philip Hawes, he'd go minus 135 against Nasruddin, who's a plus 105. I like that money as dog money for Nasruddin. The numbers might change. It might have even been highest prior to this. I don't know the odds beforehand. You've got Amiv is minus 260 against Awada, who's plus 220. Good dog money if you've got a little bit of a cheeky bet there because Zawada's shown he got a good skill set of striking. The last minute fight, Mello plus 200, Moraes minus 250. I'm down with that one. That sounds about right for me. Let's see, Quinn Buckley minus 270 against Serkio, who's plus 210. Bang on the money there. I think Buckley should be a high kind of odds favorite. The Matt Brown Carlos fight, okay, Carlos is minus 150 and Matt Brown is plus 145. So I was, I was surprised it was not a pick and fight, that one, because I don't think either of them are too overly amazing. Who else we got here? Yeah, mate. Oh, here we go. Dusko is minus 160. Okay, Serena's plus 130. I like the dog money. That's me. I like that dog money. Ponzi's minus 300. against Liang, who's plus 240. I like that money. Hollow, I like those odds. I think they're dead on. I think you can use Ponzi in a parlay. And then you've got finally Holloway minus 160 against Kattar, who's plus 130. Again, I think those odds are spot on. I don't think Holloway's a huge favorite. I don't think he's hugely over better than Kattar. I just think he should win the fight from partly experience as well. So I think I kind of go with that one. Daniel here, Ben Saunders is not chinny. He was merely pulling head every time someone threw a punch, pulling guard every time threw a punch. If you watch his fights, bro, he just gets hit too much. Dan, like Ben did not like getting hit too much on his feet. He liked to, like you say, like 10 plan jiu-jitsu, like to get the grappling in. But man, he was not good at taking punches at all. So that's this card. That's the UFC Fight Island 7 card, guys and girls. I broke that down quickly. I'm going to shoot off. I'm going to reschedule another post. I'm going to put up the next card, which is the Chiesa and Magny card. So I'll be back in like 10, 15 minutes if you feel like joining then. So I'll speak to you all soon, and thanks for tuning in, guys.